Are you fed up by this software as a service subscription you have to pay recurrently every month? You're in the right place. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thomas Love here from Leica M-mount Italia, and today we're gonna talk about some software for post-production because you want to edit your pictures after you shot RAW and you want to do it as fast as possible and in the best way possible. And so we all know, we all loved Photoshop, Lightroom, but now since a few years they changed the way they sold this software, so it was not a purchase anymore, and now it's a software as a service, meaning that every month you have to pay the subscription if you want to keep using Photoshop and Lightroom. Now, it was a very valid, maybe the first good software I used in my life, and I purchased it back in the days and I kept using it till I was using my Nikon, but then when I switched to Leica with the Leica Q2, that version was not up to date anymore and they started already with this recurrent stuff. So I got the 3 months for free that were included with my Leica purchase, but then after that I had to find an alternative because I want to purchase my software and own it. And so if I'm not changing camera, if I'm not purchasing the latest version of the glasses, well, I'm good to go with that one, and so my workflow and my budget are not affected. And so when I started using my Leica, I first tried ON1. I didn't like it that much because their AI stuff is basically an HDR and then you have to process single files, while I tried also Capture One, and for the Leica it worked very well because they had the batch processing. But batch processing for them, it means that they fix some evident errors. If you made an error in exposure, maybe you can go a bit brighter before start clipping the highlights, and so you can have a brighter photo, but it's not that much of a job, and so you have to fine-tune and to tweak the sliders by yourself. You want to give it the right character to that photo. So if you want to give your mark, because every nuance and every color we interpret it our own way, so every photographer has his own LUTs, presets, whatever that likes very much, then you have to do it manually. But even with Capture One, which I used for a few years and I loved it, I find that now that I switched to Sony, it's not doing this heck of a job, and so I was on the hunt again. And so before starting another subscription with Photoshop, I also wanted to find a software that I can purchase and keep as long as I keep this camera, which I'm using right now to record this episode. And so I incurred into Luminar Neo, which I downloaded and I'm using right now. Now, there are a few things that I love about this software, then I will show you together how it is my workflow as we speak, because it has been positively affected, because you can either have it as a standalone software or as a plugin, either to Photoshop if you want to use some AI interpretations, or as a plugin to Photos if you're using a Mac. And so as a standard software, it does the job and it does it very well. I will show you a few automations, and then in addition to that, if you need more out of it, you can even purchase some stuff, like if you want to change the sky in your photo, if you want to tweak every here and there some sliders, you can do it. Now I want to show you what I mean, because with this session I went out and had some street photography here on Lake Como. This is one of the few pics that I will not use because it's nothing special, but I wanted to show you with my workflow. I edited the JPEG because Capture One was not up to date enough to process the files from my Sony A7C Mark II, but it's comparable, and so I shot the fine quality JPEG and edited it with Capture One with automatic settings. This is the end result that we got. But then I did the same thing with a couple tweaks here and there with Luminar Neo, and as you can see, it's a totally different photo. Now, not just the vibrance, the saturation, the whatever, you have plenty of tweaks here. You have your regular ones if you want to change the exposure, the contrast, the highlights, but then you have also additional ones. When you see AI, it means that it's something that only Luminar can do with this Skylum software. And so you might want to add sun rays. Of course, I'm not doing it because it would be a fake thing, but you can eventually add sun rays. Or you might want to do something else because maybe you want to change the atmosphere, and this is for landscaping, and you might want to have a different sky in your photo. So you go to where is it, the slider for the sky. There you go. And you might want to have a different sky because, see, even if it's a night vision, it fits the photo. Incredible, right? And maybe you want to have different clouds, and you can eventually also tweak the saturation to match it. Which was it? This one. All right. As you can see, there's plenty of potential. There you go. Super easy. So you have your base sliders, plus you have some additional ones. And the end result, let me say, it's pleasing because you might want to have, I don't know, this is the original crop, but it doesn't seem straight to me, so you might want to try the horizon alignment and see it did it by itself, and now you're sure that it's straight. And then once you know that it's straight, you might want to have a different crop. And we want to keep that pigeon that is flying away, right? Super, super easy. Now, don't play that much with altering the images because otherwise the stock, some like Getty Images, iStock will not accept your photo. But if you want to go back, you just need to open the file again, and without saving, because the raw file will not be saved, you need to export it if you want to use these extra features and the changes that you made. Now I will show you. I opened it with photos, and then we just want to edit the photo, but not just with the sliders coming from photos, which is still a good thing, but we want to use the Luminar Neo additional ones. And as you can see, then we want to, well, you have some presets in case you're a big fan of the filters, which I'm not, so I'm not gonna use the presets. I will go directly into editing the photo, and we try to have a similar processing with the plugin in Photos instead of a standalone Luminar Neo. So crop, very first thing was to have the horizon alignment done. And then what do we want to have? We want to have an enhance of the photo. So this is saving you a lot of time, because with this accent AI, you see it's doing some modifications to the image by itself. Maybe it's a bit too much with the shadows here, the lighting in the front, maybe it's a bit too much of a saturation, but it's a good end result anyway. And so if we want to have your own sliders here for the exposure, as you can see, you can do it. And then maybe we want to have some more contrast, avoid tweaking the highlights, shadows, I think I'm good with that. And then blacks and whites, you have the usual sliders. Curves, color, maybe it's a bit too much, the saturation that it added, so we're gonna take out a bit. And then I have to say there are many other things that is nice to have, like magic light, this one. If you want, you can, I don't know, add more highlight here, and there you go. See, There are many things you can do with AI. I'm not doing it, I'm not a big fan of it, but it's nice to have. So if you need to retouch a face, you can just, well, this is not a portrait, so I'm not able to do it because the face is too small in there. You can tweak the skin. I will show you, we will have tutorials with it because there are so many features you can have with this software that I'm still exploring it and I'm still trying to find my way out of it. So with that, I hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, please remember to like it, share it on social media, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any videos to come, and I guess I will see you later. Thank you. Bye bye.